So, if you are on social media in any way, shape, or form, I'm sure that you've dealt with a troll or two, or at least seen some trolls.
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag.
Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Keela Trishan, and I do videos on lifestyle, insurance, and mental health. I also do vlogs, day in the life in the insurance industry, day in the life with a toddler, all the things. So if that's something that interests you, go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you for your support. Okay, so today I wanted to do something a little bit different since I do talk about mental health and I don't feel like I've done a mental health video in a while, but I wanted to talk about social media specifically and dealing with trolls, like people that have something negative to say, people that come on your page and spread negativity, all that stuff. So if you have been on social media, whether that be for like your personal life or even if you have a channel like me or, if you're an influencer, I'm sure that you've dealt with some type of troll, negativity, whatever. And I am a millennial. I've talked about this before on my channel. So things are a little bit, like I see things a little bit differently from my point of view. So I wanted to give some tips just kind of on how to deal with social media trolls. But before I even get into all that, I wanted to kind of just give you guys like a preface as to how we even got here and how I decided to even do this video. Okay, so how did we even get here? All right, so just a little bit about me for those that may not know. I've been on YouTube for about a year and a half. I started in May of 2020, kind of like in the height of the pandemic. So with that being said, I feel like I've been blessed to not have a lot of issues on social media. Like I feel like I create a positive environment, or at least I try to. I don't welcome negativity here, and I don't typically get like crazy comments. However, there are times where people, will say something that isn't so nice, isn't so flattering, or simply just say something that they could have kept to themselves, right? Now, I do think that because of the times that we're in, a lot of us aren't seeing each other face to face, and you have a lot of people that use social media for evil. I feel like social media is a tool. It can be used for entertainment, it can be used for education, it can be used for networking. But you have some people that are miserable in their own lives or just simply don't have good etiquette, and they use social media to say things to people that they probably wouldn't say to their face. Okay. So typically for me, I'm not the type of person that is going to tell you to take the high road, because for me, I go back and forth. I do feel like I'm mature, but I'm also a human being. So depending on what you say, depending on how egregious it is, will determine how I throw it back. Now, although I am very big on positivity, I'm very big on not addressing things that don't deserve my energy, sometimes I have time. Sometimes you might say something, you might catch me on the wrong day, and I might have to shoot back. Other times, I may just say, you know what, whatever, ignore it. But all the time, those people are going to get blocked if you're doing too much. This is not the space for that here or on my Instagram. I also have a best friend who happens to be an influencer, and she is in the natural hair community, and she's dealt with some social media trolls. So she and I have talked about this kind of stuff before. And then also my sister is on social media, so she's kind of had some like similar things. So we talk about this on a regular basis, and I just wanted to give some tips to people that are really affected by this, because I know that even though you don't know these people, even though like people tell you just to ignore it, sometimes you can't help but take it personally and like internalize it. So I think that in order to survive, if you are on social media, or if you are thinking about building a platform, it's important to kind of have some, I guess, defense mechanisms, just so you can kind of keep your head in the game and block out that noise. So if you're interested in these tips, definitely go on ahead and stay tuned. Okay, so my first tip to just kind of dealing with negativity in the social media space is to remember your why. Why are you even on these platforms? Like, what is your purpose? Are you on here because you are a fashion icon? Like, do you love to show off your outfits and give other ladies or gentlemen outfit ideas and just ways to style? Are you on here to educate about something? For me specifically, I do insurance, and so I do a lot of educational videos just kind of on the insurance industry, telling people about different jobs and just different ways to succeed in those roles. But I also do videos where I'm talking about my day in the life with my kid, just kind of showing moms like, look, I'm struggling just like you. This is how I make it work. I do videos on routines, that kind of stuff. You might be doing videos just simply to entertain. Maybe you're here for comedy, whatever. Think about your why. Like, why are you here? I think that sometimes we can kind of get away from it. And once it becomes not fun, once you dread putting up something because you're so worried about what other people are going to say, that's when you take the fun out of it. And that's when, it just might deter you from being on these platforms. Now, obviously, I think that breaks are important. So if you're getting like an influx of negativity, then maybe it is time to set some boundaries. Maybe it's time to set some breaks and regroup. But always remember, like when somebody says something crazy to you, just remember, like, why are you doing this? Why are you even here? And as long as you keep that at the forefront, I feel like you can kind of get through anything. And understand too that like what is important to you and what you like, what you're posting and all that stuff is not going to be good content to everybody, and that's fine. But the idea of just kind of even being on these platforms, being consistent, and you build an audience that like appreciates what you're doing. So remember why you're here. Okay, so I think it is important to remember, this is going to be my second tip, that these people do not know you. Okay, so when somebody posts something negative about you online, that is subjective. If they're talking about your character, or if they're talking about the way you look, whatever, these people don't know you. So not to say that that makes things easier to deal with, because obviously nobody wants to be trolled and nobody wants to be talked negatively about. But I think that, you just have to, you can't give energy to people that like you don't deal with on a regular basis. Like it'd be different if, your spouse is saying something crazy about you, or, your mom or best friend or whatever. If they're not saying something about you and they actually know you, that might be something that you want to kind of, address and see what's going on. But somebody that doesn't know you, a lot of times you have people that they act like they know you based on what you post. You got a lot of that. Like a lot of us that post videos or that post photos on these social media sites, you can kind of create like a community where people feel as if they know you. And sometimes those people, instead of like, saying uplifting positive things, are going to say things that can, I guess, essentially kind of tear you down. Now, what I do know is that not everybody is trying to tear you down. There are some people that think that they're giving what's called constructive criticism. Now, Jackie Aina said something really funny on one of her platforms. I can't remember if it was Instagram or if it was YouTube. I feel like it was Instagram. But she said something to the effect of like, you're giving me constructive criticism, but what have you constructed? And basically like you have people that have never put up a video, have never been in this space, have never like, had any type of situation like you do, but then they're criticizing you on it, or they're saying what you should have done or what you should do here, or giving you unsolicited advice on what they think they know about your family or your children, whatever. So look at these comments that you're getting, if you are getting negative comments, and just kind of take it with a grain of salt. Remember who it's coming from. If it's not somebody that's in your immediate circle, if it's not somebody that has any type of like bearing on anything in your life, I think it's something that you should probably just kind of cast aside. And if it's extremely negative, go on ahead and get them out of there so they don't have to worry about your content any longer. Okay, so the third thing to remember when you're dealing with social media negativity is that anybody that's taking the time out to type you a message that is negative, that is condescending, whatever, is probably not somebody you should be worried about anyway, and it's probably somebody that's miserable in their own life. Now, the reason why I say that is because in my experience, okay, I'm damn near 40 years old. In my experience, people that talk about you, people that are, like making comments about you with no merit, typically these people are not happy with themselves. They may see something in you that reminds them of themselves, or not reminds them of themselves. They may see something in you that they wish they had, should I say. They might just simply not like the way people take to you, in this space, because they don't have that sauce. It's a lot of different reasons, but I've never known anybody, even in my personal life, like when I've had friends that like sit there and just gossip about others, a lot of times they got a lot of stuff going on in their own lives that they haven't addressed or that they feel insecure about. So not saying that those people deserve to be going what they're going through, you know what I'm saying? But when you really kind of look at like just the human psyche, and when you think about like psychology and why people act the way they act, like human behavior and stuff. A lot of times, you know, people that are miserable will project that misery onto others. So be like, knowing that and just being a little bit older, I do understand that, you know, sometimes I may be the brunt of somebody's misery. Sometimes people are going to project how they feel onto me when I've done nothing to them, and so on and so forth. And even though I may feel sorry for that person, it's not my problem. You know, you need to go deal with your demons. You need to go and get therapy, do whatever you need to do. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way as far as therapy. I think that a lot of people could benefit from therapy, you know, but yeah, it's just something that you just kind of have to keep like in the back of your mind. Like, yeah, this comment may have stung, or, you know, it may make you feel bad to a certain extent, but it's fine. You know, pray for that person, send them some good vibes, and then just leave them be. Like, get them off of your platform. That's it, and that's all. Like, you don't have to sit there and entertain something just because somebody is going through something on their end, you know. I'm not a believer in sacrificing my mental health because someone else hasn't addressed theirs. All right, you guys, so the last tip that I want to give on this video is to use what's at your fingertips. That is your mute buttons, your block buttons, your remove buttons, all of that stuff. Use those things. So as I said in the beginning of the video, I am a millennial. And what that means to me is that I came of age when this whole internet like boom came about. I come from a time when, you know, we wrote letters still. You know, we would write letters in class, we would do all of that. And a lot of times people would be careful what they said if they didn't want an issue, okay? So you didn't have social media where everybody's just like 6 degrees away. You know, a lot of times if you were gonna say something crazy to somebody, you would have to say it to their face, or you'd have to deliver the message like in some type of way that could potentially get your ass kicked, right? If you said the wrong thing. Now, some people, if you were, you know, with the business and that's what you wanted, then cool. But you have a lot of people that aren't ready for what comes with, you know, tearing people down, talking mess. Because some folks will punch you in the face. Some folks will cuss you out and embarrass you. You just never know. Social media, I feel like now, what it is today, and why I do feel bad for some young people that this is like all they know. Social media has made it possible for people that live in other states and other countries or whatever to be able to reach out to somebody that they would normally not be able to reach out to and say some crazy shit just because they have access to them on social media. Okay, so I say all that to say, I'm not trying to say I'm big and bad or anything, but while I feel like I'm with the business, and if you were going to say it to my face, I'd be able to address it. I'm also not going to go back and forth with you through email. I'm not going to go back and forth with you on social media. I'm not going to have those arguments in my comments or on my videos or whatever the case may be. If you are too out of pocket, if you're saying some crazy stuff, I am going to block you. I'm going to mute you, whatever. I'm going to just get you out of here, because obviously something I'm doing is, you know, bothersome to you or whatever. And instead of me going back and forth, wasting my time, getting my blood pressure up when I probably wouldn't see you in person anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and remove you so I don't have to see the silliness, you know? And so I advise you, I encourage you to utilize those things. You're always going to have somebody that's going to have some crazy stuff to say, or, you know, just try to point out something that they didn't need to point out, whatever. But if it gets to a point where it's affecting your mental health, if it gets to a point where they're just doing too much, get them out of here. Like, that's really all you got to do. And you do have some weirdos that'll create fake pages, you know, to come back and say stuff or whatever. But I think that as long as you are utilizing those tools, you can kind of create that community where it's just positivity. I do want to address this other thing too, because I've heard people say that they feel like people in this space, and I'm talking about social media, I'm talking about YouTube and Instagram specifically. People feel like we just want people to only say good things, right? And for me, it's not that. For me, it's more, even if you don't agree with something I say, I'm okay with that. If you have a different point of view, I'm okay with like a friendly disagreement. That's fine. I'm not okay with disrespect, and that's where the issue comes in at. People think that because you are on a platform that you should just be able to take shit from whoever because you put yourself out there, and that's not why anybody gets on these platforms. People typically go on these platforms to share information, again, whether that be entertainment, education, you know, comedy, whatever it is. people get on these platforms for that. They don't get on the platform to be, you know, bullied. So yeah, like, I think that you should stand up for yourself. And I think that you should handle situations as you see fit. But I also don't think that you should waste your time going back and forth with somebody who you don't know. So if it gets to a point where, you know, somebody's just doing a little too much, or, you know, they're giving a little too much constructive criticism or whatever, block them. All right, you guys, so that's all that I have for you today. I did want to do this video, like I was saying in the beginning, because although I feel like I have a great community with you guys, on here on YouTube and on Instagram, I do feel like there are some people that will, you know, they'll try to sneak in that little negativity here and there. And I typically don't even address it, you know, like depending on what they say, I may shoot back, or I may just simply block them and get rid of them, you know. But I have seen people close to me kind of go through different things on social media, and it bothers me, obviously, because, you know, they're my people. But just really looking at everything objectively and just like really trying to understand like where people's headspace is. I think that, you know, just kind of like having a no BS policy and like just blocking people, getting people out of there, setting those boundaries, all that kind of stuff will really help you be successful if you are on social media, and if you're, you know, trying to build a platform, if you're using it for marketing or networking. You know, I do think that like all the platforms can be great, but they also have that like negative side. And especially for people that are like young and that are coming up and just still kind of getting to know themselves, it can be really, really tough, like to navigate that negativity. I think that one reason why I'm able to kind of sustain a lot is because I've seen a lot. And like I said, I came of age before all of this. And also, I've had an opportunity to grow up and know myself. I don't know if I would have been this calm and this able to navigate this space if I had done this maybe 15 years ago. You know, I just being honest, I don't think I would be able to. But if you are trying to get into this space, and, you know, if you just kind of don't know where to start, if you're having like issues with negativity, definitely think about using these tips, because at the end of the day, your mental health is the most important. If it gets to a point where you can't handle it, then get off of it or take a break. You know, I'm big on that. So I definitely hope that this video helped. If you guys have any comments or any, you know, thing that you would like to add, please go on ahead and add it in the comments below. I love conversations, love to start the conversation. So definitely, you know, get to talking. If you got this far and you have not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Click that notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. And also give this video a like if you liked it. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.
In the future, you mad that they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your bag, it's like I never